Imagine this, in the vast, uncharted waters of the world. A single mistake could mean the difference between life and death. Picture a sailor, centuries ago, standing on the deck of a wooden ship, gazing out at an endless horizon. He has no GPS, no radar, no modern technology to guide him. All he has is a compass, a hunk of wood tied to a rope, and a book filled with scribbled notes. Yet, despite these meager tools, he and his crew are about to change the course of human history. This is the story of how a poet, a queen, and a prince turned the art of navigation from a guessing game into a science that opened up the world to exploration and trade. In the 14th century, a time when the world was mostly a mystery, a man named Geoffrey Chaucer was making a name for himself not just as a writer, but also as a navigator. Chaucer, best known for his work The Canterbury Tales, was a jack of all trades. He served in the royal household, managed construction projects, and in his free time, delved into the science of navigation. Chaucer was particularly fascinated by the astrolabe, an ancient tool used to measure the position of the stars and the sun. He wrote a treatise on how to use this device, drawing from the works of Mesahala, an 8th century Arab astronomer. Chaucer's treatise was more than just a technical manual. It was a gateway to a new world of possibilities. One of Chaucer's admirers was Philippa, a young princess who would later become the Queen of Portugal. Philippa was the daughter of John of Gaunt, a powerful English noble, and the granddaughter of King Edward III. She was no ordinary princess. She had a keen interest in the world beyond her castle walls. Chaucer's lessons on navigation sparked her curiosity, and she became an eager student. When Philippa married King John I of Portugal, she brought her newfound passion with her. Her son, Henry, grew up listening to stories of distant lands and the secrets of the sea. He, too, became fascinated by navigation and exploration. Henry, known to history as Prince Henry the Navigator, never set sail on a voyage himself. Instead, he became the mastermind behind a series of expeditions that would reshape the world. From his base in Sagres, a coastal town in Portugal, Henry sponsored voyages along the African coast. He encouraged his navigators to chart new waters, discover new lands, and establish trade routes. Henry's vision was not just about exploration, it was about building an empire. He believed that by circumnavigating Africa, Portuguese ships could reach the riches of the East, bypassing the Islamic powers that controlled the overland trade routes. But navigation in the 14th and 15th centuries was a risky business. The tools available to sailors were rudimentary at best. The astrolabe, while useful for measuring latitude, could not determine longitude. Without a way to accurately measure longitude, sailors had no way of knowing their exact position on the open sea. They relied on dead reckoning, a method of estimating their position based on speed, time, and direction. This method was prone to errors, especially when currents and winds were factored in. The compass, another essential tool, was also imperfect. Sailors did not understand the difference between magnetic north and true north, leading to further navigational errors. Despite these challenges, the Portuguese sailors of the 15th century achieved remarkable feats. They sailed farther south along the African coast than any European had ever gone before. They encountered new cultures, traded goods, and mapped unknown territories. One of the most significant achievements was the rounding of the Cape of Good Hope in 1488 by Bartolomeu Dias. This voyage proved that it was possible to sail from Europe to the Indian Ocean, paving the way for Vasco da Gama's historic journey to India in 1498. The success of these voyages was due in large part to the detailed records kept by the pilots. These records, known as rudders, were like modern-day nautical charts. They contained information on tides, currents, reefs, and other hazards, as well as the best routes to follow. Each rudder was a treasure trove of knowledge, often copied by hand and kept secret. The information they contained was so valuable that revealing it could be a matter of life and death. Rival nations would do anything to get their hands on a rudder, and the sailors who created them were highly respected and well paid. The explorations sponsored by Prince Henry the Navigator had far-reaching consequences. They led to the establishment of the Portuguese Empire, which became the most extensive maritime empire of its time. Portuguese ships dominated trade with India and the East Indies, bringing spices, gold, and other valuable goods back to Europe. The wealth generated by this trade transformed Portugal from a small, peripheral kingdom into a major world power. But the impact of these voyages extended beyond Portugal. They inspired other European nations to embark on their own explorations. Christopher Columbus, for example, used the knowledge gained from Portuguese explorers to plan his voyage to the New World. The Age of Exploration, as this period came to be known, marked a turning point in human history. It led to the discovery of new continents, the establishment of global trade routes, and the exchange of ideas and cultures on a scale never seen before. Looking back, it is hard to overstate the importance of the work done by Chaucer, Philippa, and Henry. They laid the groundwork for a new era of navigation and exploration, one that would eventually connect the entire world. Their achievements were built on the shoulders of earlier navigators, from the Arabs who taught the Sicilians to the Genoese, who passed their knowledge to the Portuguese. Each step forward was a leap into the unknown, a testament to human curiosity and courage. In a world where technology makes it easy to navigate from one side of the globe to the other, it is easy to forget the risks and challenges faced by those early explorers. They were true pioneers, driven by a desire to understand the world and a willingness to take great risks to do so. Their legacy lives on in the maps we use today, the ships that cross our oceans, and the global connections that bind us all together. The story of navigation is a story of human progress, a reminder that with the right tools and the right spirit, we can achieve the seemingly impossible.